to welcome you to today's ceremony honoring Sergeant Charles Sutherland upon his retirement. The presiding official for today's ceremony is Lieutenant Colonel Robert Parker, Commander of 373rd Support Squad. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the entrance of the official party and be standing for flying attachments and American national anthem. Colonel Templeman, acting MSgt Commander, Master Chief Bouchard, Senior Enlisted Leader for himself, and Chief Master Sergeant William Corrett, Senior Enlisted Leader for the 373rd ISRG. At this time, I'd like to ask Colonel Parker to come forward and say a few words.
Good afternoon, everybody. Well, Sergeant Sutherland, first and foremost, before I forget, thank you for this great opportunity, this great honor. We're talking in the hallway, and it was nowhere near as formal as this will be. A lot of smiles, a lot of joking, but in all seriousness, we're here to honor 20 years of fantastic service. Sergeant Sutherland joined the military on 6 July 1993. And I promise, we're going through his record. We won't go line by line. But 6 July 93. And the reason that I bring that up is because he was a young man then, and 4th of July was just prior to that, and I imagine there was a good deal of partying right before basic happened, in some way, shape, or form. So he went off to basic training immediately following Independence Day, and then went to tech school. And that's where, when you review his record, when you review his career, you'll see a trend and a pattern about Sergeant Sutherland. And at the end, there may be a quiz for the folks in maintenance, that if they can catch the trends, see how it works. That's in honor of his QA experience. So in tech school, if the records are correct, he had a 97% average, which was the top of his class in tech school. From there, he went to Falcon Air Force Base. Now, many of you may be saying, what's Falcon Air Force Base? You know you've been in the Air Force a long time when they start renaming the bases on it. And I'm not talking silly little renames like Joint Base, whatever. I'm talking no kidding, it was this and now it's this kind of renames. Falcon Air Force Base is now Schreiber out in Colorado Springs. He got there in 93, left in 95. Typical tour airman, where your job is to shut up and color, do your CDCs, and get upgrade trained as quickly as you can to become mission effective. He was working on the Air Force's satellite control network, and there for his CDCs, he got a 92% average, which for his maintenance flight was top 3%. Not bad at all. Anybody guessing where the train is going? Okay. From there, he went to Offutt Air Force Base from 95 to 98. He was supported in STRATCOM, which most everything at Offutt does in one way, shape, or form. What I tend to notice there, as I was reviewing those few EPRs, was he, as a young senior airman, he was still being tagged for leadership roles, as team lead, as Tiger Team. He was trusted over and over and over again to make things better. That's kind of one of the hallmarks of his career. When there's a problem, when there's an issue, you call Sergeant Sutherland to help fix it. Additionally, he was involved in training 9 other airmen as just a senior airman. Got them trained up in less than 3 months, and then helped the unit get excellent on its ORI. Also scattered throughout those EPRs, you start to see trends of community involvement, whether it was Sunday school, zoo cleanup, children's hospitals. He was involved all over the base and the local community. After Offutt, he went to Osan Air Base for a year, from 98 to 99. This was his first putting his toe into the world of AIA, which was the predecessor to AFISM, in the 303rd Intelligence Squadron. If you're not familiar with the 303rd, they're involved in all the support in the HTAC and the KPOA. And I see a couple wrinkled eyebrows. Google search it, it'll be great. Basically involved in the intel operations there at Osan. He developed a plan to get 20 airmen trained in about half the time. So again, Airman McFarland, what's the trend there? Not far from the truth, but in a good way. He was in there training airmen again, all part of developing and mentoring folks. And again, community involvement is one of his hallmarks. He was involved in a local orphanage. After Osan, he got Kadena as his follow-on from 99 to 04. He pinned on staff sergeant there, so now we're in the ranks of the NCO Corps. He was lauded by he wasn't on main base, he was across the flight line in the 353rd Special Operations Group. So he's kind of part of the base, but not part of the base, which is similar to what we do here. But he was lauded by his SOG leadership. And if you've ever been in the Special Operations community or been associated with them, working with them in any way, shape, or form, you know that that's just a different breed altogether. They have a different way of doing business. And so when leaders recognize you and say that you're lauding you for your efforts and your leadership and the things that you do as an NCO, there's quite a bit of value to that. They are all about results and not about a lot of the pomp and circumstance. He was selected to go to the TBMCS, Theater Battle Management System Administration course, where he got a 96%. He took that was at Pearlburg, correct? I figured it was. I went to the same course, different time frame, and that's where it was. I didn't know if it moved or not. When he finished that course, he immediately came back to Kadena and started to train other airmen, but not just the maintainers, not just the folks that he worked with in the flight, but also the operations folks. He served as a team chief, and then because he had been selected for staff sergeant, he started his 7-level course, where he got a 97%. Again, high grades for a very smart individual. And scattered throughout that set of EPRs were things like excellence on various inspections, both the MSgt inspection, the ORE, those type of things, and then high stratifications. Number 1 for number 1, I believe it was 18 staff sergeants in his group, or in his flight and in his squadron. After Kadena, and 5 years there at Kadena, or at Special Operations, he went to Scott Air Force Base and worked as Secret Service communications support. There he was also picked up for tech sergeant. So as part of that U.S. Secret Service support, when you start digging through the EPRs, you kind of catch little glimpses of things like vice presidential campaign support, nuclear summit, UN General Assembly support, all these kind of things, not something that you send your average schmuck maintenance guy to, that you're worried about, things not being done right and done right the first time. He also was a team leader for the AFCA, the Air Force Communications Agency's 2004 and 2008 Team of the Year. So he sort of set the standard there for excellence within AFCA. And not a small feat, he also was the John L. Levito Award earner for the NCO Academy while he was there. Again, community involvement is always a trend, right? He was involved in the Booster Club. You can never go wrong with supporting your Booster Club. That was for Airman McFarland. He was in Veterans Day parades, staff summary sheets. Sorry about that. Sunday school instructor and tutored at the local school. And then before he left, he was selected for Master Sergeant as well. And then he came home to good old Nassau Air Base. And I, quite frankly, am not going to regale his feats here at the squadron. Not because they haven't been impressive, because they have been, but because they all were part of the same trend that he established early on in his career. Number one, excellence and learning his job and making sure he was effective at it. You see that with the 90+% across the board on the various courses that he took, on the Levito Award for the NCOA. So excellence in what he does. Taking care of his airmen, whether they're his or somebody else's, making sure that they were mentored, making sure that they grew and developed both professionally and personally. And then, most importantly, getting involved and staying involved in the community, whether that's on or off base. And that's all part of, one, reaching out to the community, but also taking care of the community. Those three things, beyond the nerdiness, as Airman McFarland said, are what I would remember Sergeant Sutherland for. The nerdiness goes back to, again, what we discussed in the hallway. I'm still disappointed that you led me down the wrong path of watching Firefly and to have it canceled after season 1. No, he did not. So all that said, those three hallmarks, those three trends that you've established throughout your career have made you a good airman, a good NCO, and a good senior NCO. And you've been a valued member of the squadron in whatever leadership capacity we've thrown at you. Sometimes it's been easy, sometimes it's been a bit of a challenge, sometimes it didn't make a whole lot of sense, but you took everything with a smile and just did the best you could with it, and it made the squadron better. I appreciate that more than you will ever truly know. That being said,